First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, B. Cannon, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What up, good people out there? You already know what it is. It's your favorite pod's favorite pod. And we back with a brand new episode 163. And yeah, as you already know, you got me, your favorite guy, B. Cannon, as always. Plus,
you already know what it is. You already know who it is. You got your boy AJ, Mr. Parlay Poppy. You know, we in the building, football season coming up. So, you know, I'm about to get back on it. You know, I took a little hiatus. I had to try to warm up, you know, with a couple baseball parlays. And God damn it, that last leg got me again. But, you know, we just knocking the rust off. So we good here. Hey, you can catch us on all major platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Search us at 3-Man Weave Podcast on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. I see the fours starting to roll in. What's going on, fours? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button when you join in. I'm going to be reminding y'all, but for the ones that's here right now, hit that thumbs up button for me right now. Hey, hit us up on Instagram at 3-Man Weave _. Twitter, 3-Man Weave _. Join the Facebook group. If you haven't already, we be having tons of fun right there. We just had a great debate on the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL right now. And guess what? You know, my list was amazing. I can't even lie, you know. So, and before the fours get you know, get a little bit discouraged, Mark, you know,
I made it.
Cup is here, you know. We still doing our thing, and you know this time we got a little something in it. You know, we took a little hiatus, but the good deliciousness is back. God damn, my teeth look white as hell, boy. We need to get sponsored by Crest. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, but let me not get off track. Hey, if you really want to ask some questions, you know we are a show here for y'all. Make sure you send us your questions at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail podcast at no shit I fucked it up podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. There we go. So Cannon know off mic I started a little early, so this might be an interesting episode.
Hey man, it is what it is.
So speaking of it is what it is, I need to know, like, Cannon, you're a person of high moral character, correct?
I like to think so.
You know, I understand that. And, you know, it's hard for you to say, hey, I could be bought for that, right?
Definitely. I mean, for the right price, I mean.
Exactly. So I want to get your take on this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't break this to you in pre-production. I wanted to kind of see where you are. Tiger Woods. Are you familiar with what Tiger Woods just did?
What, that 600 million?
Yeah, so the Live Golf Tour, sponsored by the Saudis, have offered Tiger Woods $700 million. $700 million to join the Live Golf Tour, and he turned it down. So before I even get into Tiger Woods turning it down, how much would it take for you to go over there and play golf for the Saudis? Or matter of fact, how much would it take for you to be a commentator and have a podcast for the Live Golf Tour?
It would not take much, bro. It take that much. But when you look at Tiger's perspective, like for me to do anything, you just have to come with more than I'm currently generating. So
it's gotta make sense.
Yeah, so it's like if you, and I ain't talking about barely, but it's like if you can get me out of the zone that I'm in and put me into another zone, then we can. Hey, I'm down to offer my services. But when it comes to Tiger Woods, though, you reach a certain point with money where money is not it's just not your motivation anymore. Like he's made so much money from such a young age that he doesn't probably even look at the numbers anymore or the checks or anything. So it's like I have to want to do something. And Kevin Hart and Hove was talking about this too. So it's like it's to the point where I have to want to do something because it's like the money I have that already. So it's like Tiger's a billionaire. So it's like
I
what's
understand that.
what's
I
600
I
gonna do
I,
but
I
cause
understand that.
tax problems? You feel me?
So I understand that, but also there's so like when you have like say someone who signs like a $5 million contract and they get that $5 million and they like say if it's like fully guaranteed, like
Mhm.
looking at terms of NBA and you just like know you're getting that $5 million. The $5 million lifestyle versus a $12 million lifestyle.
Oh yeah,
It ain't really much different.
Mhm.
But when you go from a $5 million lifestyle and you start talking about 75,
Yeah,
100 million,
that's big difference.
that's a big difference in your lifestyle.
Mhm.
For Tiger, yeah, Tiger's worth a billy, but when you could be almost like just join another thing and still almost be like go up another billy, that's a big difference because
But then it's time.
billion, but it's time, but
I'm
also
already rich. I could just be with my family and do what I want to do. I don't have no obligation.
but here's the thing: Tiger ain't doing that because Tiger's still playing golf,
No, man.
and he's not.
He's
And I
barely
guarantee you,
playing golf.
like he's not making 700 million just off the bat like that from golf right now.
Oh
He's
no.
doing it with endorsements
Yeah.
and like
Oxys,
former
yeah,
endorsements and all of that stuff, and
anything.
he still has like the wealth that he's already accumulated.
Yeah.
Right.
He would have
This is going to be
that would
700 million in hand.
yeah.
This
I mean,
that all money.
but that's another thing. One is two reasons he don't need to be over there.
This one right here. This
It's
is
gonna get him in trouble going over.
yeah.
That's number one. And two, it's about time. So it's like, bro, if I was worth $1 billion, even if I could potentially be worth $2 billion, do I even want to be worth $2 billion? Like, I don't because like, bro, if you try to trick off $1 billion, it's hard. It would be literally hard to do because it's
He
not like
is a
$1
sex addict. You know
billion.
what another billion can do for that
But
man?
what I'm saying is still hard, bro. Because even if he just went on this crazy spending spree, some of the things that he purchased would be assets, and he just can't purchase that much.
Of course.
He can't purchase that much. You feel me? So it's like, what? I can't spend what I have, bro.
But you know what I can do? If I can't spend what I have, guess
Get
what?
more,
My
and
kid,
give it away.
I can get another 700 million, and
That's
my
true.
kids won't be able to spend
Yeah,
what they have, and then they kids won't be able to spend what they have.
I'm a hustler, so it's like Tiger Woods is just he's been making money all his life, so I don't know if he has that hustler mentality. It's like it's just a part of what he knows.
And Cannon, we've talked about this, offline plenty of times, but one thing billionaires ain't doing is stopping figuring out how they're gonna get money. You get what I'm saying?
Keep getting money because he's Tiger Woods.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is if most billionaires, if they be like, hey, we got another 700 million for you, they're gonna be like, oh shit, what? Because guess what? Guess what? Most of the billionaires in this world, especially in this country, they didn't get there from morals. They didn't become billionaires off of their morals. They did some cutthroat ass shit.
I mean, yeah, and even Tiger and Braun and Jordan, like all of these people, Rob Johnson, our brother, Reginald F. Lewis, they all you have
to be cutthroat, and you can't care about, hey, I'm gonna like the public perception and this and that. Like, so it's actually kind of cool that He did it, and but here's what Hill said. Tiger still respects the tradition of the PGA, and not even just the tradition. He still has hopes of chasing, that ultimate goal of
He's still
of catching Jack.
Yeah, facts.
And so I think with him still having that ultimate goal, with him still having that ultimate goal, I think he's not going to jeopardize that by going to the Live Golf Tour, because currently the PGA Tour is suspending anyone who joins the Live Golf Tour. So
facts.
So that is kind of what is going on there.
Now we need him to pre-record his takes. Nah, hell on vacate, man.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, Chris said we need Hill to pre-record his takes. But hey, matter of fact, we gotta take it back a second. Yesterday was Hill's birthday. So what I need all the fours to jump in the chat and just wish D Hill a happy birthday. Because I don't care if you did it yesterday. I don't care if you did it on Saturday for his party. Jump back in this motherfucking chat. Tell Hill happy birthday, man. My boy on vacation. He's sipping a pina colada with the baldy shining in the sun. Got two sunsets out that motherfucker. But
the Spaldy.
But yeah, man. See, there we go.
Yeah, chat going there. Happy birthday, Hill.
Exactly. That's what we need.
Hill, dude, man.
Hard fucking work. So he deserved this break. And be quiet as kept shit. We all some hard working motherfuckers, and this shit ain't easy.
This world, man.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta go out and get your shit.
Yeah, nothing is given, bro.
100%.
You've taken it. So it's like America ain't giving out nothing.
Yeah, taking it, and you earned it because it's yours. I do want to say, speaking of taking it,
perfect segue, bro.
Deshaun Watson, man, the Honorable Sue Johnson has recommended 6 games for Deshaun Watson. What are your thoughts about that?
I feel like they should go with the recommendation, even though I thought prior that he would get a longer, be recommended that he have a longer suspension.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think it would need to bring in an independent arbiter for that, but they chose that route. I would have just, if I was a commissioner, I would have just done that myself. But now that you did bring her in, I feel like you should go with her decision, because what the hell did you bring her in for if you want to appeal her choice? It's like, bro, you wasting people's time, bro. You're a private institution. You didn't have to bring her in. You could have just made a decision, but you brought her in because you thought that she would rule in your favor. But in reality, and here's the reality, and you might not like this, AJ. Legally, this man has not done nothing. So it's like, it's almost immoral for a job to try to penalize me for something that I have not done. But I do understand in the NFL that is the precedent that they do that to other people. So I get that they will do it here. But I also just think that they should go with the judgment that was handed down.
100%. And actually, I don't disagree with what you said. And the funny thing about it is the reason. What'd you say?
Hell gonna freeze over.
Hey, but the reason why I say that is because this was the NFL's thing. Like, but I get what you like. The reason why I feel like, like you said, he didn't, by the law, he hasn't done anything wrong. And so, he shouldn't be, not necessarily he shouldn't be, but like any punishment is kind of, at this point in time is unwarranted because he hasn't been proven to have done anything wrong. I get what you're saying, but this is also a private entity.
Yeah.
And they created a rule that said the moment that you get, domestic violence or sexual assault allegations, it's an automatic 6 games.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I'm about to kind of so here's my thing. The reason why he got the 6 games is the NFL's fault. So to be quite honest, the no, not even just because of like her ruling and how they put it in place. It's the NFL's fault because their lack of care and previous assertion of things when it comes to like in the protection of women from its players. This is the NFL's fault. Judge Sue Robinson, like she went through and said, there is no precedent set for anything larger than a 6-game suspension. It is unfair for you to be going, a full year because of this situation. She said that, had they handled things differently in the past with their suspensions, she would be all for, a much harsher suspension. But she looks at, where they dropped the ball, and she specifically pointed out the Ray Rice case and how light that they went on Ray, how light they went on Ray Rice in the initial suspension, knowing all of the facts that were there. They saw the video, but when the video became public, they were a reactionary, like they doled out reactionary punishment. So Sue Robinson said, "Listen, we're gonna go
first."
Yeah, so when they did that reactionary thing and basically put him away for the year, Sue Robinson was like, but this was your initial ruling. And then I can dig deeper when you look at Josh Brown, the kicker for the Giants. The kicker for the Giants, he literally had a diary accounting for all the times that he whooped his wife's ass. And there was like over 20 incidents when he did it. And the NFL did nothing. And they allowed him to continue finish the season. And then, fortunately for the NFL, he was in a contract year. And because he was in a contract year, it allowed for them to be like, you know what? Hey guys, nobody signed Josh Brown. And we just get him out of the league. And it takes me to another point. Had the NFL actually not taken such a stance on protecting rape culture in the NFL, guess what? They wouldn't even have to have suspended Deshaun Watson, because guess what the NFL has shown a propensity to do? When you're someone who is, that they don't want in the league, guess what they can do? They can get you out the league. And you want to know how I know that they can get you out the league? They did it to Colin Kaepernick. When they say that, hey, we don't want this distraction, we don't want these issues here. What you did, we felt is too egregious and hurts our bottom line. We can just get you out of here, and we don't got to get no explanation. And we can make you fight for your fight for your rights to try to get back to the NFL.
He did it to Vic, bro. Vic went to prison,
and that's what I'm saying. So like they don't need, like they didn't even need to suspend you if they felt what you did was wrong enough to not warrant you to be in the NFL. Why do you think it ain't a whole bunch of openly gay players in the NFL? Because they don't want that in the locker room. If people if owners and coaches and even the players felt like, hey, someone who is sexually assaults women, harms women, beats women, rapes women is someone that I can't be a teammate with, just like they feel like a gay person is someone that they can't be a teammate with. Guess what? All that shit would have been out the NFL, but they don't feel like that is, an egregious enough offense to put them out of the NFL. And the NFL, you saw what they did to Calvin Ridley, because guess what? It compromised the integrity of the game.
And in fact, they allowed Deshaun to be given the largest contract that he's
with the most guaranteed money ever. And then they allowed the Browns to put in a clause where they protected him his entire first season so he could get all his money.
The ruling is what I don't understand. Like you said, like you have perpetuated this situation that we're in. Like
it's all their fault. It is all their fault.
You're the cause of it. It's your club, your private entity. This is how you've ran it, and I'm just following precedent. So it's like, and that's why I initially said, like, bro, y'all should stick with the ruling, because you fucked up. There's also precedents that you didn't even have to go to an outside arbiter for this one. You could have just used your code of conduct thing,
and it would have immediately been 6 games.
Exactly, but because you wanted it to be more, you got greedy.
But here's my thing.
Here's my thing.
You could have, had you have been consistent with your stances early on, you could have even took it past your code of conduct and said, with the allegations, you
whatever you wanted.
Exactly, because you're consistent. And so with other players, when it said, they got allegations and it was an immediate 6 games, guess what you could have did? You could have been like, guess what? you have an egregious amount of allegations. And Judge Sue Robinson said, even in, Deshaun Watson's, in some of his on record statements, she was like, it does, like, I feel like, some of these things actually happened. So with all, but she said, but with what you did, I have to go with like the standards that you've set, and there's no precedent for you jumping to a year-long suspension.
We got a question.
What's that?
Pull it up.
For Jarvis.
Yeah. So what?
I was about to get to that next. Here, go ahead. So
really,
go ahead.
And should he appeal if he wants to play? Now, I know he should not, because to me, what he did was completely ignorant. Now, he was suspended, right? At the time that he was.
No, he took a mental health break. Yeah, he took a mental health leave of absence.
Still signed to the team, right?
Right.
Still under contract. So here's my thing. If you're under contract in the NFL, there's no way you can ever gamble on NFL games. That is completely against the rules. So accept your suspension, take it, and move on. Sometimes when you're wrong in life, you just gotta bite the bullet and move on, and it will make things go quicker. Now, let's play devil's advocate, Jarvis. If he does appeal it, he wastes more time goes past, longer time outside the game while this appeal and things are going on, and it could be detrimental for you, bro. Like, take the suspension, get it over with, and let's get back to playing football. Don't make a mistake again.
So here's the thing. I would agree with you if the NFL just didn't change precedent. Because, yeah, I felt like at the time, I felt like his suspension was of a year was entirely too long off of kind of the situation, because he was away on leave of absence. It was a legal bet that was made, but unfortunately it was because he was under contract that it was an issue, and they felt that there was because now that they're a gambling partner, like the NFL is has gambling partners, and there are the sport that is the highest sport that is gambled on. They felt like they needed to be proactive. However, Cannon, we just saw the Miami Dolphins get their suspensions levied on them for their part in ruining the integrity of the game. But I do believe that what they did was a lot worse than what Calvin Ridley did. And let me jump to you here real quick. So they've been tampering for 3 years, and a lot of it came from off of Brian Flores' word.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they ended up getting, they ended up losing next year's first round draft pick, and the following year's, I believe, a third round pick.
But tampering.
Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. So the tampering thing, yes, I get what you're saying. So the tampering is like, okay, it's not, that big of a deal when it comes to gambling. But they used Brian Flores's testimony and like his statements and said Stephen Ross did make those statements of him offering Brian Flores $100,000 per loss to lose those games. And he actually made those statements. He made those statements to a numerous amount of people within the front office, which would give credence to him trying to tank, which gives credence for some of those moves that they made to clear house to actually tank. So doesn't that not hinder, does that not affect the integrity of the game, especially when it comes to gambling? Because that Vegas has a very vested interest in the NFL. So I got one more thing to say.
You gotta let me.
I don't know. But so when we talk about Calvin Ridley getting a full year suspension, which basically is, a full year suspension is an $11.5 million fine. When you take that into account for a $1,500 bet versus no, but let me finish. So a $1,500 bet versus someone saying, hey, I'm going to pay you $100,000 per loss to lose games. as a coach for an entire team that also affects our vested interest in our betting stuff, and then I only find I only find the billionaire $1.5 million. That is very funny to me, but because they don't care about the integrity of the game.
Let me respond. So when you commit a crime, bro, you don't get to bring someone else's crime in and say they did this also.
But that's precedent. They do that. That's precedent.
Listen, if it's the exact same crime, these are two different things. And that's my point. So it's like, I can't rob a store and then talk about someone who did a carjacking and compare my crime. You see what I'm saying? They are different things. Tampering, gambling. So Calvin Ridley plays. But listen, hold on. Let me finish.
I know. I got you.
So
I got you.
This is what the NFL had to do anytime a player is associated with gambling. You have to come down with the iron fist. This is a separate incident than those other incidents, and they had to set precedents right here. Because if he gambled once that we know of, right, now it leads us to believe, has he been gambling? You see what I'm saying? Has he been affecting the point spread? Now, when you talk about an owner tampering, right, he's just picking, he's legally tanking and asking the coach to do it. He's trying to pay him, right? He's trying to pay him. He's trying to bribe him, right? So, all right, he's trying to bribe him. But the coach can only tell the players, like, he can't tell them, like, don't win the game. He just got to call bad plays and stuff. So it's like they could still technically win, and it ain't affecting the money line. But if I'm directly betting, and I know that I play, I can go out there and directly affect the money line, bro. And I could be cleaning up big time. And it makes me think about close games that Atlanta lost. You see what I'm saying? Atlanta was known for blowing leads, bro. And it's like, dang. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm an organization, right, and I get Calvin Ridley in that situation, I'm giving him the hammer, bro. And I don't care about any other situation too. I'm dealing with that in its own space when it happens. I'm not going to say this tampering incident and compare it to this gambling incident because it's a little bit different. Yes, there's bribery in there, but bribery in a private institution, like you said, happens all the time.
But what I'm telling you,
what treated company. So it's like, technically, I could bribe them if I want to.
But what I'm telling you is you're doing what the NFL is doing. You're talking about the tampering and trying to get with Tom Brady. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what they did as far as,
bro.
But that's what I'm saying. So just as you said, Calvin Ridley can directly affect the money line.
Yeah.
Do you not think that like just saying, hey, we're gonna trade Minkah Fitzpatrick?
But he don't have to ask another player to be in.
But what I'm saying is, getting rid of getting rid of Laramie Tunsil, does that not affect what your over under is? Does that not immediately affect what your spreads will be? Does that not automatically affect what the outcome of your games would be? Yes, the same way that Calvin Ridley would do that, it affects that. Because once again, like you're talking, like Calvin,
I get what you're saying, but it's different, bro.
But you're saying
it's like and carjacking, bro.
Okay, so I get what you're saying, but I like this. I like what Hill says better is getting caught with crack versus coke.
Exactly.
Calvin Ridley's was a blue collar crime. Stephen Ross is a white collar crime. And so and guess what? They're not like. But here's my thing.
Penalty. You know that.
But here's my thing. This is the grand point that I've been trying to get that I've been leading up to. And the point is, they're always going to be less harsh on the owners when it comes to the penalties, because guess what? The person handing out the penalties works for the owners. So just like when we talk about Daniel Snyder, but the reason why the shit with Daniel Snyder keep getting kind of like swept under the rug is because
the question is, should Calvin Ridley appeal? So it's asking Calvin Ridley, did you know better, right? Yes, you did. You this is your doing. That's my
So then Stephen Ross should appeal so he can start coming to games before October and get his $1.5 million back.
Because he didn't know better.
Isn't that what you said about Calvin Ridley? Did he know better?
He
So
knew better.
Did Stephen Ross know
Stephen
better?
Ross knew better too.
So then, so the same way,
I'm
it's like,
not
all right.
for people who knew better appealing. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying bite the bullet.
Okay, but in that case, to me, if
You know you're wrong. So it's like, just because you're wrong, don't try to get the league on a technicality, because what I'm saying is you may potentially waste more time in your career. At this point, you got to get back onto the field, bro, as quick as possible to get that behind you, especially since you were guilty. It's proven already, like you were guilty of that. Under contract, you got to know better.
but here's my thing. The only thing that I'm saying
You hear
is,
what connected in it?
no, I get him, and I know I was waiting for you to read it because he gave you your props. But my point is, the players are getting held to like a way different standard than the owners and the people who run the team.
That's the way the world works.
I get that, but to me, if you like, to me, my only point is, the only reason that they're doing it because
And I agree with that.
because they're talking about the integrity of the game. They don't give a
agree with
fuck
you.
about the integrity of the game.
I agree with you. I'm just speaking from Calvin. His question was, should Calvin Ridley appeal? And I'm saying, no, bro. You messed up. You got caught. So it's like,
100%.
man, so it's like,
it was still stupid.
Waste anybody's time. So like, if he was innocent and like his man's used his phone or something like that, different, by all means, appeal. But you knowingly gambled on the NFL, like that's just dumb. So it's like I can't go to bat for people doing dumb stuff, bro. Even if I know the NFL is shady, but it's like that's how it's been set up. So if you know the game is shady, but you gonna allow them to get dirt on you, that's even more dumb of you, Calvin Ridley. So no, don't appeal is my opinion. That's all.
And I get
but
you.
I agree with you on your point that you're making about the NFL and the owners. I 100% agree with that.
And then another point that I want to, not necessarily point, but a question I want to pivot to is, how do you feel about the NFL using Brian Flores' statements in their investigation to levy their punishment, but not use like his, claims for, tampering, his wrongful termination and stuff, and actually use that, to help him?
I think that's an ultimate slap in the face. I'm at a loss of words, but that goes to your point, what you were just saying. That is how the NFL moves. And that also goes to my point. Like, when you know you're dealing with it, like Black people, we've had to move strategic our whole life. Like, when you know you're dealing with certain entities, it's like your mother told you, like, you can't get my mother used to tell me and my brother, like, y'all can't afford to get caught in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're seeing it now on, like, back then, it wasn't on tape. Like, it was just my mother telling me. It's like, oh, whatever, mom. You
right.
try. You know what I'm saying? But now we're seeing it's like, dang, like she was 100% right. But that's why we were taught to move the way that we're moving. So it's like, with this new age of people, a lot of these young people of color don't move that way, because like on the internet, you can say and do whatever you want, a lot of times with no repercussions. But it's like, as a lot of these younger people are finding out, as they keep doing things online, that there are repercussions to this stuff. So it's like, you got to be smarter than that. You can't know that you're dealing with these people in this billion-dollar industry with all of this money, and they're giving you millions, and you can't play with that.
100%.
You cannot play with that.
Right. And like what Jarvis said right here, they pick and choose when to stand on ethics when these decisions are made. And to me, that, like, I remember when I was saying, like, hey, having, in racism in the end zones and on the back of the helmets, that shit don't mean nothing to me, because the NFL is going to continue to do the same things that they've been doing to show that they don't care about they don't care about the progression of Black people, and they don't care about, ending racism and moving things forward and equity, because they're not putting people like, people of, minorities in these, positions to make decisions, in these positions to make change. So that's why I was like, hey, bro, like, I don't care. You can't just give me this surface level stuff and think like, oh, wow, they're such a great organization. Like, nah, I know what the fuck y'all doing, bro.
No, we only like them for their product, bro.
Yeah.
I you know, if I thought me not watching the NFL games could change something, I would not watch. But I know that it's going to take more than that, because I understand how boycotting of, you know, someone who's the NFL is dug in deep with future contracts. Like
Yeah.
they're already getting paid. They've already getting paid in advance. So it's like it's not them we will have to fight. It's the we will have to boycott all of their corporate partners. Anheuser-Busch, Fox, all of them, the clothing stores, the Gap, everything like the trickle down effect. And it's like we don't even know who half of their corporate partners are, unless so it's like we would have to get real strategic. And I don't like we as a community, people of color, we got to get better organized if we want to try to do something like that to make a change. Honestly, there's enough talent of people of color in the NFL to where, and enough people of color who are successful enough to we could just leave the NFL and start our own league, but we just won't.
Yeah, and to me, to be quite honest, it's hard because the NFL, they built their brand in a way
Mhm.
that,
It's
you
legendary.
know, like it's different than the NBA. If LeBron, KD, Steph, and Embiid said, "Hey, we about to go to a different league. We about to, join, a different, basketball league."
It might pop.
It has a high possibility of success
Mhm.
because of so many people are tied to the players and not
Yeah.
the teams. But the
Mhm.
NFL built their brand off of
Mhm.
teams and not
Mhm.
players. And by doing so, it's pretty much it's literally it's
We
an
more
asse-
people on
it
that team in the
it's
NFL.
it's an assembly line. And
Mhm.
that's why they are able to treat their players like a commodity because
Mhm.
you're here. As if we need to, we will replace you and get someone else in here to do what you do.
And there's enough
And
talent in the world that they can't.
exactly. And even if you look at it like, if you even if you look at it at quarterbacks, even if they feel like, we can't replace the quarterback, we will still get rid of you and try our damnedest to
Yeah.
do it. And people will support a shitty ass team with hopes of, hey, we're gonna get another quarterback soon.
Bro, if all the quarterbacks were shitty, then one would look good. You see what I'm saying? The least shittiest would eventually look good. So it's like,
And that's why I say like the NFL has, I hate to say it, but they've built their brand in a way where it is pretty much like it's unbreakable. I hate to say it, but and their brand is in a way that it's unbreakable.
man, anything is breakable, but it's like a one. Like I said, it would take a lot of organization, and not just from the players. It would take organization from the communities that support the NFL. And
Here's my thing. But here's my
you don't
thing though.
know, you indirectly support the NFL, like when you go to certain stores or you watch certain channels or you watch certain shows, like you are supporting, you know what I mean, the NFL. And that's what you don't know. You don't have to watch the game. And so that's another way that they strategically, not only have they not tied it to the players, like you said, they could treat their players like commodities because their bread and butter is the brand of the team and the nostalgia and the heroics of the team. But also it's how they did their contracts and stuff. So it's like they're insulated. Their product was so good that they've been able to go to companies and say we would do contracts with you for 10 years in advance with projections of our revenue. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like we've already getting paid. So it's like even if we did cut them off, they might last 10 more years before we could stop them till these contracts run out. So it's like,
Yeah. But and my thing is when we talk about like they're insulated and like you said, the communities actually can, you know, they have to collectively get together. But that's the thing. The communities are so, like eclectic where you have so many different groups that come together Like
Mhm.
we see it enough when it just trying to get black people on one accord to do something. So imagine trying to get every single group from 30 that support 32 different teams from state to
Mhm.
state and to even overseas and where they kind of built their brand to all get on the same page and say we're not going to watch. That's going to be impossible. This shit is a fucking cash cow. So yeah, they're able to alienate a base that supports their their product, who also represents over 70% of
Yeah,
the
that's crazy.
workforce in the product,
That's
and
that's
it can
real.
still be a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's actually
This shit,
gangster.
this shit, bro. This shit is pimping, bro. They are pimping.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, man.
They selling the dream to the fucking world.
Hey, and we buying it.
You fucking right.
You
So,
can't wait. You can't wait, bro.
and that's what I'm saying. Like they have this shit. They have this shit figured the fuck out, yo. Like can't even,
You cannot wait for the season to start, AJ.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the business model it's
Oh,
unprecedented, to be quite honest.
oh, man. Yo, that man have been the funniest full circle moment for me.
Yeah.
Because I can't either, and that's the saddest part.
And
It does deep, bro.
what's even crazier about it? It don't even got to be a good product for you to anticipate it. Like
Oh, man.
you have fan bases spanning, from state to
Yeah,
fucking state
yeah, that
that are
love
like that are
that
like that are like, like
Browns.
regardless of how good you are, they're like, hey bro, I cannot wait
The Browns have diehard fans
for years.
forever. And they had two separate teams, bro.
Yeah,
They
so
they moved to Baltimore and dissolved, and then they came back out of nowhere, and they still have fans, bro, and never won anything.
yeah. Shit, same here. So
Oh, man.
um we last week we talked about the NFC East. And kind of just went through the division and said who we felt was going to, be able to win it, who has some chances, best team, worst team. We already dropped our superlatives.
Mhm.
So with I see Miss King here in attendance. Let's go ahead and talk about the AFC South for a little bit. Last season, Titans, they were actually the number one seed coming out the AFC. Um, they lost AJ Brown. They drafted Traylon Burks, and made some other moves. But
Yep.
the Colts, they kind of made waves
Mm.
with the Deshaun Watson dominoes, being set to fall.
And Matt Ryan.
They moved Matt Ryan to the Colts in
Yep.
attempt to make room for Deshaun, and we see how that ultimately went. So the Jags had the number one overall pick. Texans
Colts
were a
feel
top
good about
5.
it.
What do you say?
Colts feel good about it, I think.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, I think they should.
Yeah. But I can't give them the favorite in this division. I still think it's a two-way tie between them and Tennessee. Because I don't have faith in Tannehill or Matt Ryan. Now, Matt Ryan once did have the tools, so maybe a change of scenery may work for him. Maybe it was Calvin Ridley tanking. You see what I'm saying? Shaving points because he's been gambling this whole time. So maybe he has some receivers who are not gambling, and maybe he does well. Who knows? That's yet to be seen. But what I do know is that I think Tannehill has reached the ceiling in Tennessee, man. And the last 2 years, I feel like his trajectory is even going downward. So it's like I'm afraid to go with Tennessee, but I like that. I definitely like their defense, and I like their run game. So it's like Tannehill, you only really have to be a game manager for Tennessee to win a division. And I also like Indianapolis run game.
Right.
So
That's what I was about to say.
but it's also I kind of like Matt Ryan, you're kind of on a downward trajectory, but you could bounce up being in a new scenery. So it's like, I don't know. I think both teams are 9-win teams. But I do think that the Texans are finished dead last in the division, and I think that the Jaguars finished third.
So here's my thing. I know you talk about Matt Ryan being on the downward swing, in his career. But also, let's not forget he was a former MVP of the league.
Yeah, I ain't forget.
And so for me, I know you talk about him, being on the downside of his career. But when you talk about the downside of his career, I don't think Ryan Tannehill is at his peak anymore either. So even if Tannehill is like slightly coming off the peak and Matt Ryan is on the downside, I think Matt Ryan is still a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill.
I'm agreeing with you right there.
And so to me, when we talk about it, and to me,
what he's done with the shaving point,
hey, bro. So like when we talk about these teams, to me, I think you're splitting hairs, because to me, I also believe that defensively, the Colts are a really good defensive team.
Yeah, they are. I didn't get a chance to talk about them, but
they are a really good defensive team. And to me, losing AJ Brown
was a detriment.
Like who the fuck is Ryan Tannehill about to throw the ball to? You telling me Treylon? Like, are we going to just automatically assume Treylon Burks can step in and take that spot?
He might, though.
He might, but are we saying he can? You know what I'm saying?
We not saying that.
And especially as a rookie, like we talked about this with Juju, when Juju was talking about how he wanted to be a number one receiver, and then AB left, and
it got tight on him.
And it got tight because it's different. So being a rookie and coming in expected to be that number one is going to be, it ain't going to be easy. And I know they have Derrick Henry, but I'm definitely picking the Colts to win this division.
But how many wins? And see, I got them both at 9 wins. Like I tried, but then I had to do about a wins, and I got both of them coming up with 9 wins.
So 9 wins is going to be tough.
And maybe 10. They might get 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think it's a possibility that the Titans, I think the Titans will end up finishing second in that division with 9 wins, because when you actually go through it and you look at the Colts schedule, it's very easy. Like they start off the season, their first 2 games are with the Texans and Jaguars.
That's 4 games.
And so that's some games right there. And then they
do play.
Our
conference schedule is tough, and that's what I was looking at.
So yeah, it's tough, but I mean, they also get the Steelers, and we'll get to the Steelers eventually, but trying to pick between Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, who knows there.
Be a legitimate team, man, because my thing is Mike T, bro. Like, yeah, Ben's gone, and I don't want to talk about them because this is AFC South.
Right.
I just still think they're going to be formidable. So it's like I don't think that you can just count that as a win.
No, I'm not saying you can count that as a win, but I'm just saying that that is a winnable game. They do have games against a couple AFC West opponents, but then they also have some NFC West opponents in there as well. So,
might be tough opponents, man.
We talk about, they're, getting a clean sweep against the Jaguars and the Texans, but then you also get the Giants and the Commanders. I hate to say it, but so those are games, like I said, to me, it's not such a murderer's row.
Hey, Commanders going. One thing though, what I will say about the NFC East teams, even when they are trash,
they play hard.
They play hard, and when other teams come, they lose by 3 points. It's not like they just drop 50 burgers on themselves. Like it'd be a low scoring game, and it'd be the worst that the other team looked all season when they do come there. So, if the NFC East can keep it messy, man, they can win some games this year. Who knows?
100%. So I think it's like I said, I think this is going to, of course, is going to be a 2-horse race, no pun intended. Just kind of going off of that though, I
would go with the Colts too if I had to pick.
Yeah, and because like I said, for me,
Ross.
you know, we're dropping our superlative soon, but
Yeah,
I think
it's
Michael
that
Pitt.
right.
I think Michael Pittman is going to have a really, really, you know, I won't say really, really big season, but I think he's going to have a breakout season because we started to see him come on late, and that was with Carson Wentz. I think Matt Ryan, who has been proven to throw the deep ball, he's
He
not
got better.
afraid to do it,
Yeah,
and they
so
have that run game. I think having Pittman and then Alec Pierce across from him, they're going to have some big body receivers, almost going to be like
man,
what they had, like what the Titans had last year.
Matt Ryan love a swing pass, bro, and JT can take those to the house. So,
All right, hold on, because I know we talk about it. We talk about our guy Ross's team, and he
but
he
it's
over there
like,
about to have an aneurysm.
but I say I gave them as much props as I possibly could, bro.
But as you talk through it, bro, you starting to see like
It's really coming. It's really they're close teams. I'm saying y'all are going to be there, but if I had to pick,
exactly,
Ross, it comes down to the quarterbacks for me.
and
So I have to choose Matt Ryan over Tannehill. And I think if you're being objective, Ross, and this wasn't your team, but you were just analyzing football, you would probably say the same.
yeah. So and Ross said they still out there looking for wide receivers, but then he also put this, he talking to Rakia saying they might go after T.Y. Hilton.
Hey,
Hey, I mean, if you're still looking for a wide receiver at this point, it is getting very, very, very grim. The pickings are very slim. You're going, for Will Fuller,
hey,
T.Y. Hilton.
Will Fuller is good, man.
He
Like
just can't stay healthy, bro, and that you gotta take that into account.
you definitely, yeah, you know how I feel about that. And Ty the same. He's good. He just can't stay healthy.
Can't stay healthy, especially in his older age. So, I really think it's of course it's going to be a 2-horse race. I think, you say you feel like the Titans, the Jaguars are going to finish third, the Texans are going to finish last. Man, I don't know. I think the Texans might end up being a better team than the Jaguars, yo, because man, I know the Jaguars, they just had complete dysfunction, but I also like the
Urban gone, bro.
Yeah, you got Urban gone. I like the coaching hire that they made.
Yeah, facts.
I really like the coaching hire that they made, and I think it's gonna elevate Trevor Lawrence, and if it doesn't, it's going to put a whole bunch of pressure on him. But I also think that they're still going to be trying to figure some shit out, and I think this Texan team. The word that I want to use is that they are better than you expect.
And they got Lovey, huh?
Yeah. And I'm rooting for everybody black. So
yeah, but we also didn't want him to take that job.
Oh, of course not. And like we said, hey, because I remember years ago, I was still living in Florida, and I believe we was on JDF podcast, and I said, hey, Brian Flores, I love you, dog, but this is a black man's job to get fired and build the culture and bring someone else in.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that I said about David Culley. And the reason why they ended up bringing in Lovey is because we can't keep David Culley because they know why we brought in David Culley, but we're going to try and bring in Lovey Smith because I'm not sold on him, but I think that, I really think that they can win with him.
I like Trevor Lawrence better, man.
Hey, bro, as a prospect,
Lawrence believed in Lawrence.
Yeah, but also Davis Mills won more games than Trevor last year.
Bro, they were paying this man a tank down there, bro. Like Trevor Lawrence was fighting against a lot, bro.
Hey, look, bro. I understand
he was fighting against a lot.
But hold on. So the Texans wasn't tanking too?
Bro, I'm pretty sure they were.
So
bro, this Miami thing has revealed a lot to us. Like we've always
it ain't revealed shit to us because we've always known that teams was tanking.
Yeah, we've always said, but when Flores said that, we never knew that they were paying for tanking. We never knew that. We thought that they just come and say, hey, you're under contract, you need to tank. You feel me? Or you're fired. So it's like, and you're gonna be fired after you tank anyway. So,
but guess what? But here's the thing: they did that anyway because it was never in writing. Because that's why one of the reasons why they just kind
Which
of
is why
swept Flores shit under the rug, because it was like, hey, it wasn't written in stone, so it's just we don't know if he's playing or not.
Man. I would have got my bread, bro.
Hey.
If you, because think about it, I talked about knowing who you're dealing with. You've always said, like, you didn't want Flores to take the Miami job because you thought it was a setup job too. So it's like, all right, you get there, and now they're saying it's a setup job, just like AJ said. So that they're wanting to pay you to tank, but you also got a legit contract. At that point, you probably should just take the money, the $100K per game to tank, actually tank, and then right off the sunset.
But here's the thing. You know how we were talking about the Live Golf Tour? $100K ain't enough for me to compromise my morals. So give me.
But you ain't doing nothing now, Flores.
Give me $1 million.
But what you got now is what I'm saying. You got to know who you're dealing with.
But guess what? When you talking about what I got now, I still got my integrity. I still got my morals because I'm a man of fucking integrity. And regardless of what they say, motherfuckers know I was right because they use my words to get this shit across the line. So at the end of the day, I'm a man of integrity. But guess what? I'll take $1 million per game, and we could do 16. We can make it 16 million per loss. I mean, 16 million. I go 0-16.
Just take what they offer. He definitely should have negotiated. He could have got that money up. You feel me?
Oh, 100%.
So it's like he could have got it up if he really wanted it.
But that's what I'm saying. So you talk about he ain't got nothing. Guess what?
Hey, hilarious on the playback, bro. It's so much.
Hey, what he say? You know what he's saying? All the man got is my balls and my word.
And I ain't breaking them for nobody, man.
And I ain't breaking them for nobody. Tony Montana, he said, I ain't breaking them for nobody. Flores was down in Miami. He said, I ain't got nothing but my balls and my word, and I ain't gonna break them for nobody unless you make it $1 million per game.
And he was my guy, so I'm riding with him. He definitely, if you don't stand for something in this world, you'll fall for everything. So he definitely stood for that. And like you said, he's making decent money anyway. So $100K is not enough to sway someone who's already making more than $100K.
Yeah.
So they definitely should have came in higher if they wanted the tank. They could have got the tank.
Like what?
But these millionaires be cheap,
bro. He literally got fined $1.5 million for these, for the tampering.
Yeah,
he could have just paid that for that's not even that was basically $1 million per 100,000 per game. So what you got fined is what you offer him. Yeah, get that man $1 million.
Facts.
$1 million per game. You got it. You're a billionaire. You got 100,000 millions.
And so it would have been worth it. It would have been worth that money.
Yeah. Make it worth my day. Remember what I said about my job? I don't get out of bed for less than 4 hours. 5 hours.
Yeah.
I ain't tanking for shit less than $1 million per.
Hey,
you got it.
Ross said he going to the Tennessee game week 1.
Hey Ross, what's up with that Tennessee Bengals game? We definitely need to be out there in Nashville, my boy. We'll talk turkey offline.
Hey, dang, that's crazy because one of the bros is trying to do a trip to Nashville. I'm gonna talk to you offline.
Definitely, because we got the Titans in Tennessee. Our schedule kind of lit this year. We got the Titans in Tennessee. We got the Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah.
We got Tampa down in Tampa. I'm about to be at. Oh, and we got New Orleans down in New Orleans. It's a couple games that I'm finna be at. This schedule is something crazy.
Look, just supporting the NFL left and right.
Yeah, I know. I'm such a sellout. God damn it. Let me get out of here before I make my ancestors mad.
Hey man, it's a great product. You can't deny it. Because look, I'm gonna be watching all these games.
100%.
And if the Commanders get on any type of streak, I might go to something. You feel me?
In my defense, we do have a sports podcast, so I gotta talk about sports. So I kind of gotta support it, for my career. You know what I mean?
Whatever helps you sleep better at night. I'm all for it.
Hey, you can catch us on all major podcast platforms at 3-Man Weave, YouTube, 3-Man Weave podcast. Hey, for all the fours that's in here right now, y'all better hit that thumbs up button before y'all leave. Hit the thumbs up button right now. Give me a thumbs up if you just hit that bitch. And tell somebody you know right now. Send them a text. Hey, be like, hey, go subscribe to the 3-Man Weave podcast and join us next week. Because we're going to have some fun. It's free. Hill gonna be back. We definitely gonna have some more shit to talk about. Hey, you got the Hall of Fame game coming up. Football season's here. Basketball season about to come real quick. And MLB off season, that shit's about to happen.
About to go down. Yankees, baby, Bronx Bombers. And look, for everybody, football season coming up. Look, man, I'm wishing your team a healthy start to the season. Ain't nothing worse than players going down in training camp. I know it all too well. So best wishes to your team, man. And if you're facing my team this season, I see you on the gridiron, baby.
You know it. 3-Man Weave. Shout out to the Force. And we out, baby.